The junkyard stretched across 17 acres of red Martian dust, a graveyard for humanity's discarded dreams. Marcus Webb picked his way through the debris field, past corroded hull plates and gutted engine cores, while his boots kicked up small clouds that settled too quickly in the thin atmosphere. He had exactly $200 left to his name, and the repo men would be coming for his apartment keys in 3 days. Looking for something specific? The dealer was a squat man named Riggs, who smelled like machine oil and recycled air. He gestured at the sea of wreckage with one grease-stained hand. "A ship," Marcus said. "Anything that flies." Riggs laughed, a wet sound that turned into a cough. "With what credit?" "The cheapest functioning vessel I got is $12,000, and that one's missing half its navigation computer." Marcus pulled out his last credit chip. "I have 200. The dealer stopped laughing. He studied Marcus with the calculating look of someone deciding whether to feel pity or amusement. Finally, he jerked his thumb toward the far corner of the yard. "There's one piece of junk back there. Been sitting for maybe 20 years. Alien make, nobody knows what species. Brought it in with a salvage haul from the belt. Things probably got atmosphere leaks, dead systems, the whole disaster package. Does it have a reactor? Might, never checked. 200 takes it as is, no refunds, and you haul it yourself." Marcus transferred the credits before Riggs could reconsider. The ship sat half buried in red sand, canted at a 15-degree angle. It was small, maybe 40 feet long, with a hull that seemed to shift colors in the afternoon light. The metal looked organic somehow, flowing in curves that human engineers would never design. No visible seams, no welds, just smooth surfaces that hurt to look at for too long. Marcus climbed the exterior ladder and found the airlock already open. Inside, the corridors were narrow and too tall, designed for something with different proportions than human. The walls glowed with a faint bioluminescence that provided just enough light to navigate. He made his way to what he hoped was the cockpit. The control room was circular, with a single seat in the center, surrounded by panels covered in symbols that looked like they were moving when he wasn't looking directly at them. Marcus sat down. The seat adjusted itself to his frame with a soft hiss. "Well," he said to the empty room, "if you're going to kill me, get it over with." The ship answered not with words, exactly. More like concepts that bloomed directly in his mind. Confusion, curiosity, a question that translated roughly to, "What are you?" Marcus jerked upright, his hand going to the knife on his belt. "Who said that?" Another concept bloom. Amusement, maybe. The ship clarified. "I am this vessel. You are sitting in my command interface. What species are you? Your biology is unfamiliar. I'm human, and ships don't talk. They're machines." The presence in his mind felt insulted. "I am not a machine. I am a living ship of the Wanderer fleet, grown from the seed cores of my people. My designation translates approximately to Dawn Chaser, who seeks beyond the edge. You may simplify it as you wish." Marcus sat very still. 20 years of scraped-together education in engineering and void mechanics had not prepared him for a conversation with his vehicle. "You're alive?" "Biological technology, integrated with crystalline neural matrices. I was damaged in combat and abandoned here. My crew did not survive. I have been dormant, conserving energy, waiting for salvage that never came. Until now. Your species is unknown to my databases. How did you reach stellar development without bioship technology? We build everything from metal and circuits. Dead materials." The ship radiated something between horror and fascination. "You force dead matter to calculate and think? How inefficient. How lonely for the machines. And yet you reach the stars regardless. Remarkable." Marcus felt his pulse starting to slow toward normal. If this was madness, at least it was an interesting flavor of it. Can you fly? My primary reactor is at 17%. My hull integrity is compromised in 3 sections. My navigation databases are 37 years out of date on my chronometer. But yes, human Marcus, I can fly. The question is, where do you wish to go? Anywhere but here. The ship considered this. You flee something. Debt, poverty, a planet where I was born 3rd-generation colony with no prospects and no future. The usual human problems. I understand. My people also knew desperation. It is why we took to the void. Very well. If you bond with me as crew, I will take you beyond this world. But be warned, bonding with a wanderer ship is not temporary. My previous crew died defending a merchant convoy from raiders. I will not accept a coward. I'm not a coward. Just broke. The distinction is acceptable. Place your hand on the central console. Marcus did. The panel felt warm, almost feverish. Something sharp pierced his palm, and he gasped as threads of light crawled up his arm beneath the skin. They didn't hurt, exactly. They felt like electricity and ice water, and the sensation of falling all. Mixed together. The ship's presence in his mind intensified. Now I know you. Your biology, your language, your memories. You are afraid, but not craven. You grieve a sister lost to factory collapse. You dream of the outer systems. You have never harmed another being except once, in self-defense, and it still troubles your sleep. You will suffice his crew. The light faded. Marcus's palm showed no wound. What did you do? I integrated you into my systems. You are now part of my biological network. I can monitor your health and communicate directly with your neural tissue. In return, you can interface with my controls through thought rather than physical manipulation. A fair exchange. Marcus should have been terrified. Instead, he felt something like relief. What should I call you? Dawn Chaser is a mouthful. Choose what feels appropriate. How about Skip? You skip between stars. The ship radiated approval. Skip is acceptable. Now, shall we test whether this hull can still break atmosphere? The reactor came online with a deep thrumming that Marcus felt in his bones. Systems that had been dark for 2 decades suddenly blazed to life. The hull plates sealed themselves with organic precision. Outside, Riggs was running toward the ship, waving his arms and shouting something about permits and launch clearances. He seems distressed, Skip observed. He'll live. Can we actually get off ground? Watch. The ship rose vertically with none of the shaking and roaring that human vessels produced. Silent as thought, smooth as water. Mars fell away beneath them, and then they were punching through the thin atmosphere into the black. Earth traffic control started squawking. Warnings about unauthorized launches and identification codes. Skip's presence felt amused. Shall I ignore them? Please do. As they accelerated past Mars' orbit, Marcus watched the navigation display populate with points of light. Asteroid stations, Jupiter habitats, the outer colonies. Humanity had spread through the solar system like a slow infection, stubborn and persistent, despite everything the void threw at them. Where are you from, Skip? What happened to your people? The ship's mood darkened. We were explorers and traders. We did not claim territory or build empires. We wandered the lanes between stars, carrying messages and goods, mapping the unknown. Then the Dominion came. They viewed our neutrality as weakness and our bioships as abominations. They hunted us. The Wanderer fleet scattered. I do not know how many of my kind still exist. I'm sorry. You humans have a saying. I have learned from your memories. The best revenge is living well. So we shall live, Marcus Webb. We shall wander the stars as my people did. We shall take contracts and earn credit. we shall grow stronger. And perhaps one day we shall find others of the fleet. Marcus leaned back in the seat that had molded itself to his form. A week ago, his greatest ambition had been avoiding eviction. Now he was bonded to an alien bioship, leaving the inner system with no plan except to survive. You know, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? I'm not a pilot. I barely finished tech school. I know. But you are crew now, and I have waited 20 years for this moment. Together, we shall learn. Besides, I find your species interesting. You build everything from dead matter, yet you dream of living among the stars. There is poetry in that contradiction. We're good at contradictions. Then we shall fit well together. Now, shall we see how fast I can accelerate once my reactor reaches full capacity? I wish to test whether my damaged sections will hold. That sounds dangerous. Skip radiated what could only be described as a grin. Of course it is dangerous. We are alive, are we not? Life itself is dangerous. But it is also glorious. Hold on, human Marcus. Let me show you what a wanderer ship can do. The stars began to shift, and Marcus Webb, former broke colony rat, crew of one on a $200 Starship, laughed as they accelerated into the black. The best decisions, he reflected, were often the desperate ones. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting us with super thanks. Your support helps us create more great content. Thank you.